Well, guys, you're not gonna believe this, but it's actually just a minute ago it was hail coming down, and now it's small droplets of snow. There's some ice right here. What a crazy weather we're having. Look on top of the truck. I don't know if you can tell, but the thing is that it doesn't feel that cold to be doing that. So I'm looking at my thermometer. It's upper 52. So, and it's a clear sky. Well, not clear. It's a little cloudy, but it's got some clear openings. Yeah. So tomorrow I'm gonna go down to the boat and continue with the projects. I already have the bag here with my cable. I got the new lamp that I want to be installing. Well, first I gotta make a template for it, and I'm taking a tool, and in a while I'm gonna go to the store and buy some plastic paint because I'm painting this. What do they call this? Can't tell what it says there. It's pretty old. This came originally with a boat. I was gonna throw it away, and I said, "Nah, I'll keep it. I'll paint it white because I already have a small one for the rear, so I can talk to the guys fishing and say, hey, I see something on the left or the right or whatever." But this one is going to be installed in the front because I can connect it to the radio and set it for foghorn. You need a bigger one, so that's the right size. So it'll go to in the fog. One time in the 80s, I had another boat, and I went fishing. Took my father, a cousin that came from New York, and a couple of friends, and we ended up in the middle of this fog donut. It was clear in the center where we were, and we completely surrounded. Then I hit something in the water, and it wrapped a bunch of fishing line, and the gear broke. So I was dead in the water. I only had one engine. It's an outdrive. So I had to call the Coast Guard, and they came, and they couldn't find me because of the fog. So they kept saying, okay, talk on the radio, stay on the radio, and keep saying 1, 2, 3, count to 10 and repeat until they can echo sound me, I guess, and find me that way. They broke through the fog, saw me, came next to me, and hooked up a line and pulled me out and back to the marina. We left the guy on board so he can more or less drive, and we got on board. It was a 40-foot small cruiser. It looked like a small, not a battleship. It looked like a destroyer, and they had a couple of 50 caliber machine guns on them. And I'm going, whoa, what is that for? He goes, well, we need to have that on board just in case. So good. So they pulled me back. So I could have had the foghorn going, and they could have find me that way also, or prevent somebody hitting me if the fog completely closed up on me. So it's a good thing to have. So I am going to prepare that and connect it. Also, I did the MacGyver on the light, and I installed this on my. This is my lobster rigging deal that I did to pull up the traps. So that pipe connects onto one of the rod holders in the rear, and then I had this nice pulley. You pull the rope in there, and pull up the traps, and I connected the light, so the light will swing down like this or up like that over the water. And I'm gonna put a switch on that. I already ordered the plug that, and then the female plug and the male plug with the button to hook it up. So I just put it over the side, hook it to the plug, hit the button, and it turns on, and it has a fuse and everything. So it's a good setup. The whole thing cost me like $12. So yeah, I got a lot of projects, and this weather is not letting me go. it's it's always, I'm tired of this cold weather. We need to start going back to California weather here. So I know we're still in winter, which is good. See, it stopped already. Um, we're still in California weather. All the mountains are green. Look up there. I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of far. Everything is pretty green. There's a lot of water. And finally, I heard on the news that we went from drought to medium setting, or what do they call it, relief or something, because everything is filling up. All the reservoirs are filling up, and all the streams are going to have a lot of water. And when the snow starts melting, there's a lot of snow. I heard on the news there was 13, 14 feet of snow. No, 33 to 35 foot of snow in Mammoth. That's one of the lakes I go fishing for trout. One of my favorite places. It's beyond, you got to pass Bishop. And the up with the cabin, my friend's cabin, I got to talk to him to see if he's been up there, because it does snow. It's above 8,500 feet. The pictures of my friend showed me one time, it was 21 feet of snow up in that area. So on the cabin, he couldn't get in. So he came up with this idea when the next season, he went and built a hatch on the roof. He had an A-frame. So right there on the peak, he opened up a hatch. So then he can drive up there if it's really that deep with snow with his snowmobile and go over the gate when the Forestry Service closes that road for the winter. You can't drive up there. But what he would do, he would just drive right over it because the snow is so high. So he would drive right over it, go up there, get to the house and to the cabin, and pop the hatch, and actually drop in. And then he had a ladder, aluminum ladder that he would set up to leave. And then in the summer, he would go up there a couple of times in winter. I don't know exactly. So he said that the sliding door, you couldn't open it because it was all covered snow. You'll see white on the glass. So he would go in there and turn on the fireplace, put in the logs, warm up the cabin, cook, and stay for, I don't know, a couple of days, just checking up on the place, and then drive back to he used to live in he used to live in Valencia, I think it was. He was a commercial electrician. He did a lot of work for McDonald's. So that guy, he was making money. One day, he went up to the cabin in the summer. And so he drove up his dirt driveway, which kind of goes up and then turns and then winds up. And it's a good 150 yards or so, 200 yards to get to the cabin. So when he gets up there, there's a guy with a truck with a pickup backed it up to his firewood pile, and he started piling up the wood on the truck. He was stealing. So he goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh no, I got permission from the owner to take some firewood." He goes, "I am the owner." Get the hell out of here. He kicked him out. So that's why you got to go and check on your property, because you don't even know what's going on. Yeah, they see the house is not inhabited. It looks abandoned, and people start taking stuff. So he will go up there. But I will meet him every year. Every year. and we had a big dinner. One time he says, "Hey Ray, why don't you bring some of that Cuban food that you guys are famous for?" I said, "You want some?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "All right, I'll bring some." So I took this big banquet. There was a couple of people from the I think it was the fire department. They were there. There was one person from forestry, and I think it was one guy from Fish and Game, and then us, my friend, that go hunting with me, and his wife, the owner of the cabin's wife, and a couple other people. There were a good sized amount of people there. So we're picking out, and there's this guy. I forget his name now, but I see him once in a while. He never had cassava, which is yuca, and we make the mojo, right? And after the dinner, we were cleaning up and putting things away, and he just hugged this big pot. I thought big pots, you know, 18-inch across or something like that, or even bigger, full of stuff. And he just hugged this thing, and he was going at it. He just he couldn't eat enough of it. And I said, "You like the yuca?" He goes, "What do you call this?" And I said, "Oh, it's like a potato-like substance." I couldn't, back then I didn't know if it was called cassava. He didn't know that what was yucca, so I said it's yucca. So, anyways, years later, I'm talking, I don't know, 4, 5 years later, I'm driving up to my hunting spot, and there is this girl from the forestry. Um, I don't remember if it was forestry or it was fishing, but anyways, she was on the street and she was kind of directing traffic because there was a small um, collapse on the road, and people were going around, and like rocks or dirt. I don't remember if it was a tree or something, but she was there kind of. He said, this side of the road is closed. You gotta go. So she comes over and she goes, "Yeah, you have to." And I said, "Okay." And then he goes, "Hey, aren't you the Cuban guy that brought the food?" And I go, "Yeah, that's me." She goes, "Oh yeah, I remember that." So they were still talking about it. 5 years later, they were still talking about it. I took a lot of stuff, and they loved it. They loved it. So we would do that. We'd get together, and some guy would bring fish from a fishing trip, quail or something, and we'd just share on all this food. And then we could either stay. Some people stay in the cabin. I would stay in the Blazer. Actually, I had a setup in the back that I had the bed with a cab. I made a furniture. There was off the floor, going all the way to the back. I removed the seat, of course, and then I had storage underneath. I had a drawer in the back that would open out, deep drawer that I could put all my cooking stuff, my canned goods, my stove, my Coleman 2 burner stove, my propane tanks, ammo, a camera. It was a very good space, and I would load that thing up, and then on top I had uh, blankets, and then a sleeping bag for insulation, and I would sleep in there. And sometimes my friend also would sleep in there. We did that several times, including going to Wyoming. We did that trip, and that was our 4-wheel drive camper combination. Um, the weather was good. We just set up the tent. We take a tent, and by the cabin there's this camping place, camping area, and you can set up your camping, have your fire pit, a few bathrooms down the road. And we did that for a long time. And then one day I find out that the owner decides he retired already, and he sold the cabin to a neighbor that had a piece of land next to him, and he moved out to Idaho. He is almost border with Canada. Talk about cold, man. That's got to be cold up there now. So, anyways, this guy bought the cabin, and I never met the guy, so I didn't have I never went back there because the guy didn't know me, and I wasn't going to show up and say, hey, I want to come and stay or visit or something. And it was kind of sad. It was kind of sad that that happened, but business is business. The guy bought it. Then I hear that the guy, um, he was sick with cancer, and he passed away. And he inherited my friend that used to be up there with us. His name is Bryce. He inherited the cabin from this guy because they knew. He was very good friends with the old owner and the new owner. They knew each other. So since the son wasn't interested in the cabin, he said, "Okay, well, I'm going to give it to this guy because they use it. They go hunting." And we hooked up again, and we've been meeting up there every year, and we have the dinners and the barbecues. Everybody stays there as a hunting station, and then from there everybody goes their own way. But sometimes I hunt in a different spot which is far away, so I take my own gear and I camp on the other side of the Sierras. And now I've had that for about 10 years now. With the pop-up camper, I don't go and stay at the cabin anymore, but I do visit. I go there either depending. If I'm going on the west side, I go later when I'm leaving. If I'm coming out the east side, then I go before the opening and visit if he's there. Sometimes he's not. So yeah, we've been doing that for years. I'm talking since the 80s, you know. So it's good to have buddies, to share the same sport and to talk about things you know, um, and I can't wait until this season starts for hunting. And but sadly, I mean, I'm not doing the backpacking anymore unless somebody goes with me. So now I'm looking at my best backpack that I just bought recent. I only used it a couple of times, I think 2 years. I got all these packs piled up here. I mean, you can tell the amount of stuff that these are the Mystery Ranch Selway 60. These are the Everly stock. Good pack, very good material. This is a Badlands, and it's sitting on top of the one in the plastic. That's the mega pack from it's got a Kelty frame. So and then I got this pack that we bought for my woman to go camping. It's even loaded with stuff, cooking stuff, and she never wants to go because she's afraid of bears. So we got 5 packs. I'm gonna start selling all this stuff because the backpacking deal. I think I can still take the Selway and carry my essentials, just very minimum. A couple of nights, water, some food. That's it. No camping gear, and go hunt with it. If I do catch a deer that I can cut him up and bring him out, I could still use that pack. But the rest of them, I'm gonna have to sell them because what's the point of having them? I mean, I might keep. I'm gonna sell 2. I'm gonna sell the Everly stock and the Kelty back here. I'm gonna keep the Badlands, and the reason I'm keeping the Badlands is it's very comfortable, very very comfortable. I can use it as a lightweight 1-day thing. Close to the vehicle. If I'm going to go further out, then I'll take the other one and go further in. And but the backpacking adventures that I had, and I had a lot of videos about them. I'm gonna stop doing it because I don't wanna wear out my hip. I've been getting a little bit of not weakness, but it's sometimes I get a little pain. You know, I don't know if it's a muscle or it probably is, but I can't stress my hips. Now, if I get somebody that goes with me, we can share the weight, especially the water, and then yeah, because I could walk 2 miles. Yeah, I'll take it easy, go slow, and then climb easy like I always do, and do that. But to take the whole camping gear with me and stay for several days, because since it's hard for me to do the trip, go back in there, why am I going to come out the next day? If I'm going to go in, I'll stay for 4 days, minimum 3 days. You need a lot of stuff to do that: water, food, and you need your gear. So if somebody else wants to go with me, we can divide the weight and divide the load with the deer. If we do catch a deer, cut it, and it's okay. You take a quarter, and I'll take a hind quarter and a front quarter. You'll take a hind quarter and a front quarter, and then get the back strap. We can probably pull out, pull out the whole deer in one shot if we divide it into two. But if it's by myself, it's gonna have to be several trips and three, because you figured I'll take half a deer, put it in the freezer, go back and get the rest of the deer, take it back to the truck, put it in the freezer, including the head, then go back and get the camp, and then you know that's a lot of climbing and walking. Uh, don't wanna stress my condition. So the backpacking series are pretty much over. Um, I'm a little backpedaling on the decision to buy the tree stand. I'm a little, I'm gonna have to go back up there in the spot that I chose, give it another good look, go over it and scout it well, way before, I'm talking spring, way before the season, and make my decision if I am gonna get the tree stand, because that's another thing that you have to set it up, climb at night. Um, and the idea for me was to go in a day before. There's a big squirrel crossing the street right now, and go in with the pack, going with the tree stand, set it up, and down and leave it down on the ground, already hooked to the tree and everything. Maybe put a couple of branches over it, but I don't think nobody goes through there. It's very scattered. Some people go to the end of the road, some people go before, and I'm more or less in the middle. Set it up and leave it there, and then the next day, and put my red light so I can hit it and find it. And then the next day, go in early, 4:35, I guess. Get in there, climb up, um, and then that's another thing. I can't be climbing as a rookie. I gotta go in there and climb several times and get some experience climbing with this new device, because you have to get the hang of things, right? You got I'll do that, and then I'll figure, okay, this is high enough. I like it. This is, and then bring it down, leave it there, and then the next time I go hunting, I'll set it up. So it's a it's a decision that I'm kind of like kicking it around. Now, another thing that I haven't shown, because basically I haven't used it. It's the I have a crossbow. Crossbow is kind of big and heavy, and I've shot with it in the forest a couple of times just to test it. It's not a walking around weapon. This is a sitting weapon. You need to be on a stand. So on the bow season, I have permission that I can shoot. I got an official permission that I can shoot my crossbow from a stand. In the bow season. You see the snow?
Where
It was snowing.
there's a big cloud coming.
Yeah, I know, but it was snowing pretty much. It started
Here?
hailing.
Here?
We got hail, yeah, little hail.
Okay.
And all that got white up there, the tree.
I did?
Yeah, but not much.
it
But
off.
yeah, it just
it
melted
do?
quickly. It's only 52.
I was gonna go to the park, but
No, for what?
I was freezing.
No.
I went to the
Okay. Permission to use the crossbow in the bow season because I can't shoot the bow anymore, and I really like shooting that bow. I don't know if I should keep it until I have my procedure on the shoulder and do the therapy and do everything like that and see if I can use it. 'Cause it's a shame that I can't shoot my bow. Shooting a bow, it's an art. It's not like shooting a gun. Anybody can shoot a gun. Shooting a bow, to me, I consider that to be an art. And I asked to shoot. I started shooting a recurve. I had a Cougar, really nice bow. I gave it to a friend of mine. He moved to Florida, and I said, "Here, have this as a memento." He has it over his door in the garage. I don't think he's ever shot it. So I started shooting with that, and then I've had like 2 or 3, and then sold them both, and then the last one that I have is a PSC, very good bow. So I don't know, but that crossbow, it's a good crossbow. Don't ask me the name now. And I took it the last time I went. I took it and I just took my target also and I shot and I was hitting okay. I hit up to I think it was 50, 45, 50 yards and I was hitting the target. So the tree stand, the crossbow is going to be for the tree stand. Crossbow is not to walk around and see if you see a deer like you do with a bow. No, it's a different deal. So I yeah, those packs have to go. I want to start getting rid of a lot of stuff that I'm not using. If I'm not using it, there's no need to keep it. Now, one thing that I'm doing is I'm gearing up for fishing, big time. I'm gonna do another setup. I just bought a tablet for navigation, and I'm waiting on my cabinet to see if it's being built, and also I bought a high water level alarm. Didn't know that anything over 25 feet is required. Well, I'm over 25 feet in both sides. So I bought it. Going to get that installed. And it's a good thing to have because there's a lot of videos of people sinking and they don't know their pumps are not working. They don't know if the boat has water because they had no alarm. So if the pumps die for some reason and the water starts coming in for some reason, you get a big 3-inch hose or a 2-inch hose busted, water's pouring in and you don't know about it. You're probably napping inside the cabin or you're fishing and the engine is loud, you don't hear and nothing. And by the time you notice, the electronics die because once the water touches the top of the batteries, the connectors and everything, the battery shorts out, everything dies. By the time that happens, you're already sinking. You have no pump, you got nothing working. You're gonna bail out. So I'm gonna install that. I bought it. I bought another small bait net, and what else? Oh, and I'm thinking I'm not ready there, but I'm getting a couple, 2 maybe 3, but it's going to be most likely 2 of the spreaders. You have those fake bait you drag behind the boat, and then you drag your other jigs and everything and see what bites for the tuna. I'm working on that. So the boat's coming along well. Just that this weather's not gonna doesn't let me get there because cold and raining and windy and can't finish painting the engines and put the pump on there and all kinds of things. So I'm gonna give it a good run for the money this fishing season. And I'll be doing some fishing videos so you guys can check it out. All right, guys, I'll let you go. See you on the next one. Thank you.